Tonight, light rain developing late. Low 53. Winds east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 70%. Thursday, light rain early, then remaining cloudy with showers in the afternoon. High 59. Winds north-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance of rain 80%. .57 degrees under cloudy skies. Here's our local Doppler radar.
Selling your home quickly and for top dollar is about putting your best foot forward and making a good first impression. See what house flippers are doing in your neighborhood, go to open houses, and view listings of homes similar to yours. You only want to make big renovations if they're going to bring you an even bigger return. With little time and money, here are some other things you can focus on. Improve your landscape by putting down fresh sod, replacing tired bushes, and adding some color with flower beds or potted flowers. Money Talks News suggests buying a new front door and replacing your mailbox and house number. Change outdated light fixtures and faucets, replace medicine cabinets in bathrooms, and spruce up bathtubs. The Spruce recommends decluttering and putting things in storage and removing outdated window treatments. Get rid of carpets if you have wooden floors underneath, and depersonalize your home so buyers can see themselves in it.
Okay, so bananas aren't exactly the most difficult fruit to peel, but that doesn't mean this feat of ingenuity and engineering isn't still remarkable. This robot was developed by researchers at the University of Tokyo in Japan, but it wasn't programmed to peel fruit. It was designed to learn. They taught the AI that powers the set of arms to safely remove the banana's skin, simply by showing it how hundreds of times, in a process its developers call deep imitation learning. It took the robot 13 hours to learn how to complete the task without completely smashing the fruit. It's still not the fastest, taking about 3 minutes to peel this banana, mostly with care, and it only has about a 57% success rate with the task. But it's a start. The engineers behind the device say that because it's able to learn rather than being programmed, it could be taught to do a near endless array of bespoke tasks, just like a human, something they say could be particularly useful in Japan, where there's a shortage of living, breathing workers.
It's Hump Day! Happy Wednesday! I'm Sasha. Have you heard about the new movie Everything Everywhere All at Once? It stars Jamie Lee Curtis and Michelle Yeoh, among others. They're on our People TV channel's Around the Table show today, discussing their new multiverse movie. Also today, Dr. Wendy is helping parents deal with their child who may be the most challenging.
You know, they say it's really hard to love the ones who need love the most. But with your children, this is more important than ever.
That's a pretty important message, and you can learn more in our parenting show. And in our Body and Mind Wellness show, we explain how jukebox jamming could be your mental health solution. And in Give Me Some Space, we have a story about a new helmet that can track an astronaut's brain waves and how that can help future space travelers. That's under our Shows tab. Check it all out on our app. Free and fun as always, so download it now and have a wonderful Wednesday.
Here's the outlook for your week ahead.
The U.S. is working with its allies to investigate potential Russian war crimes in Ukraine. Hi, everyone. I'm Deborah Shigley. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced Wednesday that U.S. prosecutors are working with those in Ukraine and other countries to collect evidence.
Our message to those who continue to enable the Russian regime through their criminal conduct is this. It does not matter how far you sail your yacht. It does not matter how well you conceal your assets. It does not matter how cleverly you write your malware or hide your online activity. The Justice Department will use every available tool to find you, disrupt your plots, and hold you accountable.
The U.S. is also adding more sanctions, targeting President Vladimir Putin's 2 adult daughters and blocking 2 key Russian banks in retaliation for war crimes. After massive public outrage, officials in Shanghai, China will allow some parents to stay with children who are infected with COVID. A top city official says parents can apply to stay with children with special needs under specific rules. Parents must wear masks, eat at different times than their children, and avoid sharing items with them. News of parents being separated from their infected children sparked protests online last weekend. 26 million people in Shanghai remain under lockdown. Mass testing also continued Wednesday, following another jump in new COVID cases. House Democrats are accusing oil companies of ripping off Americans with high gas prices. On Wednesday, oil executives testified before Congress for the second time in 6 months. They say oil is a global market and that companies don't dictate prices, while lawmakers say they are putting profits before production as gas prices continue to increase.
Americans today are facing extraordinarily high gas prices at the pump. The average price of a gallon of regular gasoline 1 year ago was under $3. Today, the average is over $4 a gallon, and in some places, it's nearly $6 a gallon. These prices are straining our constituents' budgets and their patience.
Last week, President Biden ordered the release of 1 million barrels of oil per day for the next 6 months from the nation's Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It's a bid to help control energy prices that have increased after the U.S. and allies imposed sanctions on Russia over its invasion of Ukraine. According to AAA, the national average gas price on Wednesday was $4.16 a gallon for regular, which is up from $2.87 a year ago.
These are the latest incidents and events in your area. Let's take a look at the latest airport delays. Here are today's lottery numbers.
President Biden is pledging another $100 million in military aid to Ukraine. The White House announced the plan to help pay for more missiles Tuesday night. Ukraine's president has been pleading for more weapons, especially after alleged war crimes committed by Russia. The new aid is in addition to $300 million in security assistance to Ukraine announced last week. Since February, the U.S. has given Ukraine more than $2 billion in aid. Changes are coming to Netflix, and you can thank Pete Davidson. During a digital short on Saturday Night Live, the comedian complained about the lack of short movies on Netflix. Well, the streaming service was listening. Netflix has created a new category for films shorter than 1 hour and 40 minutes. Some movies on the list include Zoolander, Stand By Me, and Scary Movie 4. That's great for those of us who fall asleep during long movies.
Aiming to reduce feelings of loneliness, researchers may have found how technology can help Alzheimer's patients. Virtual reality was suggested as a remedy to combat feelings of loneliness and social isolation, two factors closely linked to Alzheimer's. The study from the University of Kent in the UK found that VR could help those with dementia to recall old memories, reports Insider. In a panel at South by Southwest, researchers said that sort of reminiscence, it doesn't necessarily reverse dementia, but it can certainly slow the progression. Social isolation increases as people get older, but loneliness is now comparable to heart disease or smoking in terms of its long-term health consequences. In fact, a 2020 report from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine found that social isolation among older adults was associated with a 50% increased risk of dementia. Data of this kind has pushed companies like Mind VR to create experiences for older adults far better than regular Zoom calls. Their technology lets older adults share their virtual reality screens with friends or family around the world, offering a complete immersive experience even miles apart.
I'm not at all surprised.
Big screen legend Harrison Ford's had a long career, but he's never had a lead role in a TV series. Until now. The veteran actor is set to play a psychiatrist in the Apple TV Plus show Shrinking. The comedy co-stars Jason Segel and is produced by the team that created the Emmy Award-winning hit Ted Lasso.
Ready? As ever.
Captain Picard will have his old crew with him for his final trip into the final frontier. Paramount Plus just revealed that the Star Trek The Next Generation cast will be reuniting for the third and final season of Picard. The last time they all appeared together was 20 years ago in the film Star Trek Nemesis.
Here's 30 minutes of easy listening on 103.5 Dawn FM.
Jim Carrey makes a creepy cameo in The Weeknd's new music video, Out of Time. The two Canadian stars became friends a few years ago after discovering they both lived in the same LA neighborhood. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
Kanye West has backed out of performing at Coachella. West was set to be one of the headliners at the festival. A source says West did not want to take the stage in the midst of his divorce battle with Kim Kardashian. Coachella starts April 15th in Indio, California. The event will be held over 2 weekends.
There's a new way to get your groceries, and it may be headed your way sooner than later.
I'm Jalea Hemmings, and I am the co-founder of Nourish and Bloom Market.
Jalea Hemmings launched Nourish and Bloom with her husband Jamie in Atlanta earlier this year, and she says the idea came from their family needs, as well as a response to the pandemic.
It started because of our son, who was diagnosed with autism when he was 2. And when he was diagnosed with autism, we learned the importance of diet. And so we realized then, by making meals that he liked, and when we tested them on other kids, that we had something here, that we had the ability to have kids eat healthy, but feel like they're not missing out on anything. And we launched it during the pandemic. Obviously, 6 feet, distancing was high on priority for everyone. Touchless experiences and engagement was also high. And I said, you know what? We're going to open this market. Let's open it for what the future of grocery looks like post-pandemic.
And the future of groceries looks, well, futuristic. The autonomous market employs a system where you can scan a barcode before you shop. Cameras then keep track of items added to your cart, so once you're done shopping, you simply walk out. That means no more scouting out the shortest checkout line or waiting for someone to pay in pennies.
We want to take away the parts of shopping that nobody enjoys and embrace the parts that everyone does well. I think the best part is that they always are like, just walk out. That's all I have to do. There's no scanning or anything. I said, no, once you scan your barcode to go in the store, the store is yours.
And where they open the store is important as well. The pandemic really shined a light on many Americans' food insecurities, most notably in so-called food deserts, where people live more than 1 mile away from a supermarket in urban areas or more than 10 in rural ones.
We found ourselves looking for a school for our children and found an amazing school, but we saw that we were also in a food desert as well, and that issue came up again of how are we going to feed our children healthy meals. Our whole mission is that everyone deserves access to healthy food in a convenient and affordable way, right? So we are looking at areas and food deserts and making sure that we're actually deploying Nourish and Bloom markets in these food deserts so that they can be within walking distance of good food that they can feel good about.
Plus, they went beyond just offering food options. They also have a nonprofit foundation which helps families in need.
We have the Nourish and Bloom Foundation that's helping to offset the cost so that they can pay the same amount of money that they're paying for food that's not the best for them at this point and still get access to healthy foods.
And if you need it delivered, not a problem.
We have 2 delivery robots, Nourish and Bloom. Funny why we named them that. And so they are our delivery bots, and they can go up to a 3-mile radius. So when you talk about post-pandemic and folks maybe not wanting to interact with, many crowds and so forth, we even have robot crossings here so that the cars know to watch out for the robots.
But without the cashiers, is the tech taking away jobs? Jalea says, if anything, it's actually increasing them.
Technology is about increasing access, right? I know a lot of people feel like technology decreases jobs. We have more people working in our store because of the level of technology that we have within it than we would have had if we opened up a traditional grocery store.
And Jalea says they are trying to expand nationally, offering franchise opportunities across the country.
We are the first autonomous grocery store in the southern United States. We want to make sure that we can get access. We've had people from all over the country saying, please bring one here.
So, if the Hemmings have it their way, maybe one day you'll have a little robot to thank for delivering your bread and milk.
Taking care of a pet is important, and for some, it's as important as taking care of their own kids. According to a study of 2,000 dog owners conducted by One Poll on behalf of Puppy Spot, 83% of dog owners think taking care of their pup is just as important as taking care of their kids. 57% of dog owners take their dog to the groomer at least 5 times per year. And most dogs have amazing items. 76% of respondents said that they spend time finding the perfect items for their pooch. The Puppy Spot study found that 69% of respondents say their dog is their best friend, and 73% think their dog has made them a more emotional or sentimental person. I guess that's why they call dogs man's best friend. Americans are turning to their feet instead of wheels when they can. According to a study of 2002 general population Americans conducted by One Poll on behalf of Superfeet, 54% choose walking as their mode of transportation if given the chance. In fact, respondents said they are trying to double the number of steps they take in 2022 compared to 2021. However, a third of Americans avoid walking because they have chronic pain. The Superfeet study found that these are the ways people are trying to eliminate their foot pain. 32% apply creams or ointments, 30% use over-the-counter medication, and 27% regularly wear insoles. Getting those steps in is important.
The Environmental Protection Agency is proposing a rule to finally ban one form of asbestos still used nationwide. Chrysotile asbestos is still used in some chlorine bleach, brake pads, and other automotive products that kill thousands of Americans every year. It's the only raw form of the asbestos imported and processed in the U.S. The move marks a major expansion of EPA regulation from 2016, which overhauled rules governing tens of thousands of toxic chemicals in everyday products. Health experts have been fighting for decades to ban all forms of asbestos.
Something is happening deep underneath the Martian surface, and it's surprising astronomers who thought they sort of had the red planet all figured out. It turns out Mars is shaking, and that has some pretty big implications when it comes to the life cycle of our closest neighbor. Earthquakes, or Marsquakes, likely point to volcanic activity. Volcanic activity would imply Mars still very much has a lot going on inside of it, meaning a mantle and possibly molten core. And that would change so much about what we thought we knew. Mars doesn't have a magnetic field, and it was believed that was because it didn't have an active core and mantle, or where a planet's magnetic field derives its magnetism. Yet the Mars InSight lander has detected hundreds of these quakes since 2018. And now that geophysicists with the Australian National University have ruled out Mars' moon being the cause of the quakes, they're left with one conclusion: red-hot molten rock under the planet's surface. Meaning Mars might not be as dead as we once thought, and it's raising more questions about why it's missing that life-protecting magnetic field in the first place.
.57 degrees under cloudy skies. Here's our local Doppler radar.
Three of the largest credit reporting agencies in the country recently announced they're dropping medical debt collections. And with the Fed raising interest rates, what does this mean for your credit? CNN's Jen Sullivan has more on how you can improve your score.
Where's your credit score at? It could rise in a few months after credit reporting agencies Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion announced starting July 1st, they'll remove nearly 70% of medical debt that went to collections from consumer credit reports once it's been paid off.
And typically that would still be a derogatory account, but even settled medical debts are going to be removed from credit reports.
Experts say when debt is placed on your credit report, it could make it harder to get access to credit or loans. And with the Fed increasing interest rates, it could pay off to look for other ways to raise your credit score in order to keep borrowing costs down. David Mahalik from Credit Vergio has 3 tips to help you improve your credit score this year. Number 1, pay down credit card debt. It's the second largest section of our credit score.
If you have high credit card balances, if you start leveraging credit card debt a little too high, it's not at all uncommon to see scores drop 40, 50, 80 points or even more.
Number 2, get added as an authorized user on a credit card from a family member or friend. That way, their great credit history will show up on your credit report and potentially raise your number. And number 3, put payments on auto pay. Create an account for all your bills to pay online and set up for minimum payment so that you don't forget.
You don't want to see that big drop in credit score because you got a 30-day late on a credit card and you forgot because you had to pay it off and there was an annual fee.
I'm Jen Sullivan.
Charlottesville. It's time for some fun.
Here's a local pick you shouldn't miss.
Let it fill.
Here's another local pick in our area that's looking great.
Here's a look at the full list of top picks for our area.